Welcome to the Endo Belly Girl podcast. I'm your host, Alyssa Chavez. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner and restorative wellness practitioner on a mission to change the way that we support women with endometriosis. Endo is a full-body disease that impacts your mind, body, and spirit in countless ways that aren't often addressed the way that women truly deserve. We are here to talk about all of it. Please keep in mind that the content of this show has been created for educational purposes only and should never be used as a replacement for medical diagnosis or treatment. Hey, my friend, and welcome back to the Endo Belly Girl podcast. Today, we're going to be talking all about endo flares and how to support it in the moment, because if you're listening to this right now, chances are you know exactly what it feels like to be in the middle of an endo flare. The pain, the bloating, the exhaustion. Maybe you had plans today, maybe you had work to do, but now all you can think about is just getting through that next hour or even the next minute. I've been there. I think all of my clients have been there, and I know exactly how overwhelming it can feel. And that's why in this episode, I'm going to share my go-to tools that I personally used and that have helped my clients when a flare hits. These are things that you can do in the moment to ease pain, support your body, and help you get through the day with less struggle. And I also want to be really clear, these are amazing for short-term relief, but to truly feel better long-term and to have less of those flares, it's important to get to the root cause of your inflammation. We'll talk about that too, so be sure to keep listening until the end. But starting off, you guys know I love my myths versus truths, so let's dig into a few of those today. Myth number 1, if I'm in pain, my only option is medication. The truth, sometimes pain medication is warranted, and that's totally okay. There is no shame to taking pain medication when it's needed. But I also think it's wonderful to know that there are many natural ways to support your body in a flare, things like heat, minerals, herbs, breath work, and even sound therapy that can reduce pain, and we're going to talk about those today. Myth number 2, there's nothing I can do to prevent flares. It's just my reality. The truth, while flares can happen, tracking symptoms, adjusting your diet, reducing stress, working on your lifestyle habits can all help to lessen their frequency and their severity. And myth number 3 for today, endometriosis is only about period pain. The truth is, endometriosis can also affect digestion, energy levels, mental health, and more. And even when it comes to pain flares can happen not just during your period. It can also happen during ovulation, during or after intercourse, or really just about any time. So I wanted to share a little bit with you about my personal story, my personal journey. And once upon a time, I had intensely painful periods, right? I mean, I'm talking when my period hit, there was no doing anything. There was no going to work. There was no getting anything done around the house. I mean, I was full on just hunched over, couldn't even physically stand up straight, pretty much just couch bound. And even that was very uncomfortable. And I just felt like there was nothing I could do. And for me, which I know is the case for many people as well, pain meds honestly didn't even help. I would take, over-the-counter Advil, Tylenol, Midol. I tried all the different things, and honestly, none of the pain medications even helped. And so I kind of just stopped taking them. And that's what got me to really start to explore what other strategies I could use to support my pain in that moment. And for me, that's when most of my pain came up, was during my periods. But I know, like I mentioned, that's not necessarily the case for everybody. For some people, that pain can show up very differently, and that's okay. Whatever is happening, wherever that pain is popping up, these strategies can still help you, even if it's not during your period. Now, nowadays, I'm very thankful to say that my flare days are very minimal, rare if ever. It's more like if I have a wonky cycle once in a while where I'll have some pain, but in general, my periods are largely pain and symptom free at this point, which is so incredibly life-changing from where I started, honestly. And that's come really from the deeper work. So I don't want you to leave here today thinking that if you use the strategies that I talk about here, that all of a sudden you're going to have completely pain-free periods or pain-free life. If it works that well for you, amazing. That's fantastic. But I just want to be super clear and honest with you because I don't want to be misleading or, make you believe there's some kind of one miracle thing that will help you to never have pain again. I really wish it were that simple and I had a super simple solution like that. Honestly, I would probably make a lot more money if I had some sort of claim like that, but I would rather be honest about it and let you know how things have really gone for me and for my clients, because it's just one of the major principles of my life is honesty. So nowadays, like I said, I don't really have a lot of pain flares, but when I do, I still use these strategies. These are things that I used when I was really having a lot of pain, and strategies that I still use today, strategies that I recommend for my clients as well. So just wanted to share that. These are, like I said, things that I recommend for my clients as well. So I actually just had a client message me a few days ago at the time that I'm recording this and let me know she was on at the time, I think day 3 or 4 of her period, and everything was like great. She had no pain, no symptoms or anything like that. And she has in the past used some of these tools that we're going to talk about here today. She's used probably all of these tools. At this point, she is, doing some anti-inflammatory practices and stuff leading up to her periods, which is something that I recommend and do for myself. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But I thought that was really cool. That was just such an awesome message to receive of like, hey, Alyssa, guess what? I am on my period and I'm not in pain. Yay. That's like the biggest win that I could possibly hear. So that was really cool. All right. So let's dig into some of the actionable strategies that you can use to help when you are having one of those endo flares. So let's say you wake up, you're in a lot of pain, you need to do something about it, and either the pain meds aren't working or you're just trying to go without the pain meds. Here are some strategies that you can use. Number 1, love me some anti-inflammatory foods, but herbs in particular when you are in one of those pain flares. My personal favorite is just to sip on some ginger and turmeric tea. Now, ginger and turmeric are both really powerful anti-inflammatory herbs. You can use them separately. You can use them together. You can use fresh ginger and turmeric. You can get them in capsule form. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. This is just my personal favorite. I also just love tea, so that helps. And I feel like the hot beverage is just very soothing. So I like traditional medicinals. They make a really yummy organic ginger and turmeric tea. I really love that. I always keep it on hand. I actually will drink that just on a regular basis because I enjoy it, but it's super powerful as an anti-inflammatory when you're just experiencing pain. You also want to think of just avoiding some of those foods and things that can contribute to pain flares. So things like gluten, dairy, sugar, processed foods, alcohol. You definitely don't want to be eating that stuff when you're in the middle of a flare because it can kind of add fuel to the fire. So just focus on really simple, cooked veggies and protein. Just go really clean, really calm, really simple foods when you're on your periods, just keeping with that anti-inflammatory diet, which I know we've talked about a lot in the past. We've dug deep into what that looks like, so I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of that today. But I do find that just eating really simple, like lightly cooked foods on your period seems to be the most supportive for people. And then sipping on some anti-inflammatory herbs like ginger and turmeric can be really powerful as well. Secondly, hydration and electrolytes. This may sound really simple, but also super important. And because it's so simple, I think we often overlook it. I think also when you're just in pain, it can be difficult to remember exactly what to do. So I even recommend just kind of having a breakdown of all of this. I actually have a resource that I've created for all of you, which I'm going to share how to get that at the end of this episode. So be sure to tune in. That way you'll have it kind of laid out for you besides just having this available here. So yeah, hydration and electrolytes. So water can actually help to flush out toxins in your system and just kind of prevent tissues from sticking together, keeps the blood flowing. So many things that staying hydrated does in your body. Keeps your digestion going, but we also want to make sure that we're replenishing electrolytes. So I think drinking some nice water, either room temperature or even some warm water with a little bit of Redmond's real salt or something similar to that, some Celtic salt can be really good to help to replenish electrolytes, just to make sure your body's able to absorb that water, and just for the health of your body in general, right? Because oftentimes when you're low on electrolytes, that can contribute to cramping. Some of you may have experienced that even with exercise, when you're not staying well hydrated and all of a sudden your muscles start to cramp up. So having that, sodium, magnesium, potassium in your system can be really helpful. And just kind of sipping on that throughout the day. Third up on my list here is magnesium. I love magnesium. Magnesium is like the master mineral. I did record even a whole episode on magnesium a while back, and just love me some magnesium. It can do so many things. It helps with muscle relaxation. It can reduce cramping, can even reduce PMS symptoms. It can help with pain. I personally take a magnesium glycinate supplement daily, and often will recommend that because it's just hard to get enough magnesium in your diet. However, when you're having pain flares, you certainly can still take a magnesium supplement, but I also find it really helpful and really soothing to get magnesium in topically. So there's different ways to do that. You can buy some magnesium lotion or magnesium oil. There's different ways to get it where you can actually just physically put it on your skin, rub it in around your abdomen or wherever you're experiencing pain. That can be really helpful. Or even just take an Epsom salt bath. So taking a nice hot bath, pouring in some Epsom salt. Epsom salt is very rich in magnesium, or you can also just get magnesium flake and put it in a hot bath, same idea. And then your body is able to just absorb that magnesium directly through your skin. And bonus, if you're doing the hot bath thing, the heat can be very soothing and relaxing for your body as well. Because, one of the things that happens when you're in a pain flare, you're experiencing pain, and so then we tense our bodies, and then that can contribute to pain even more. So some of the strategies that we're talking about here are just going to help with even that part of it, just getting you to be able to relax your body a little bit and allow those muscles to release hold of that tension can be really powerful in helping with those pain flares. Number 4 on my list here is gentle movement. And this, I totally understand that this is a tricky one because I have certainly had pain flares that are so bad, so intense that movement just doesn't even feel possible. So it might be something incredibly gentle. I've even gone as small as just like walking around my house, like take a lap around the house, and that's my movement. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. If you're up for it, even doing like some very gentle yoga, like some restorative type poses, going for a very slow, mindful walk to help to get circulation moving. If it's possible for you to move your body even a little bit, it can really help with blood flow. It can help get those muscles to relax. It can help with stiffness in your body. It can help reduce pain. So many benefits to just moving your body, even if it's very, very gently. Number 5, heat therapy. Love me some heat therapy. Probably many of you have used this already, but if you haven't, be sure to add it to your list because heat therapy can be so powerful. Just so that can look like, I personally have an electric heating pad that I love. I use my electric heating pad all the time. Or a hot water bottle can be a good option as well. Or I mentioned before the hot baths was up with Epsom salt. That's kind of a kill 2 birds with 1 stone thing. You're getting the heat, you're getting the magnesium in there, and it can just be very relaxing for the body in general. That heat also helps to just improve circulation, helps to relax the muscles, and it just feels very soothing and calming, I feel like, at the same time. All right, number 6, calming breath work. Again, this sounds very simple, but you know what? When you're in a pain flare, that's all you want and need is something simple. You don't want to have to go through, jumping through all these hoops and doing all these crazy things. You want to be able to just have some very simple tools that you don't have to think too hard about. So that's what I'm trying to give you here today. So when you're breathing slowly, when you're breathing deeply, it actually can physically help to lower your pain sensitivity, to reduce stress, to help to bring calm into your body, to calm the nervous system. So many powerful benefits. It can physically help to move the diaphragm and the pelvic floor if you're really taking those nice deep belly breaths. So simple one that I recommend is just an inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 6 counts. That's really the simplest, most basic breath work that you can use. That's going to be so beneficial for all of that stuff. So what I like to do with that when I'm in a flare is just lie on my back and or sit and just take those nice, deep, slow, calming breaths. Inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. Super simple. So those are really the main 6 things that I recommend, but I do have a few bonus ones that I wanted to mention as well that just can be helpful. Some additional herbs and things that I think are really wonderful to have in your arsenal. So one of those is red raspberry leaf tea. That's specifically been shown to support the uterus and help relieve cramping. I feel like I always mention these in tea form. Any of these herbs and things you can typically get in capsule or tincture form as well. But I just find the tea form to be very soothing. It's easy to find. That same brand I mentioned, the Traditional Medicinals, does make a red raspberry leaf tea. They also make one, it's some kind of menstrual support blend, and I can't remember exactly the name of it now, but it has some red raspberry leaf in it, as well as some other herbs and things that are supportive when you're menstruating. So you can definitely look for those. I really like Traditional Medicinals. They have some great products out there. Cramp bark is another one that I really like. That one, I believe they also make that in tea form. You can be like, oh my gosh, this girl is obsessed with tea. I actually am a little bit obsessed with tea. You can ask my husband that. I love tea. But I also genuinely think that these are beneficial. You can also get cramp bark in tincture form, in capsule form. It's an herb, and funny that it's called cramp bark because what's one of the things that it really helps with is relieving cramps. So awesome stuff. TENS unit is another one. Well, that's not true. I actually have used a TENS unit before. I don't own one. Just not something that I feel like I particularly need at this point in my life, but I do know a lot of other endo warriors who have used it. I've actually used it in the past for other purposes. I went through a period of time in my life where I was having some struggles with my hips. I had bursitis and just having some ups and downs with that. And so I was actually going to physical therapy and they were using a TENS unit on me. But they do make some pretty inexpensive ones now that you can take home with you. And basically what it does is it sends small electrical pulses to help to disrupt pain signals. Super interesting stuff. And a lot of people just swear by those. So I thought it was worth mentioning. Another one, and this one's getting a little more woo-woo, but honestly, I found it to be super helpful for myself, and maybe it will be for you as well. So I thought I would just throw this in there, and then, you can make your own choice on whether this resonates with you, so to speak, or not. And that is sound resonance therapy. So listening to certain sound frequencies can actually help to relax the nervous system and help to reduce pain or even pain perception, which is super helpful. So what I do, honestly, is I just type into YouTube, what do I type? Something like sound resonance for pain. And there's videos that pop up and it basically just plays these sound resonances, these calming frequencies. And I like to combine that with some of the other therapies that I mentioned. So I will put on some of that sound resonance therapy. And then at the same time, I will have a hot my electric heating pad. And at the same time, I'll be doing some breath work. So it's and maybe I've rubbed some topical magnesium on my belly at the same time. I try to kind of put some of those together and just take some nice, calm, deep breaths while I listen to that. Or I've put that stuff on when I'm getting ready to go to bed and want to be able to sleep easily at night. I found that to be super calming as well. So just wanted to throw that out there too. If you need help, by the way, finding any of this stuff, if you're listening to this and going, where in the world do I find this? Feel free to reach out to me. There's kind of too many things to just put all the links and stuff in the show notes because I don't know where you are in the world. You might have different options, available to you. And, we all have different needs and whatnot as well. But if you're listening to this and you want help finding something, or maybe you were listening while you're driving and can't write something down and you need support in that, like, oh, where do I find this? Feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at EndoBellyGirl, and I'm happy to answer any questions or, help you find products as well. I don't have like affiliate links or anything. It's not about that. I just want to help connect you with the things that will help to support your body. So feel free to reach out. Now, I mentioned this at the beginning of this episode, but just wanted to circle back that, all of the things that I'm mentioning here are more, they're definitely tools that are supportive for your body in general. It certainly won't do any, harm in your body, but it is short-term relief, what I'm talking about. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, we are at this point in time nearly 80 episodes in. So you've had quite a bit of content to get to know my way of thinking and all of that. And you know that I fully believe that addressing the root causes is really key. So some of the things that can really help with long-term inflammation can include, cleaning up your diet, working on anti-inflammatory foods and all of that. Doing some gut healing work can be really powerful, keeping your blood sugar balanced, doing all the lifestyle stuff like getting enough sleep, get enough water, moving your body regularly. I mean, there's so many things. I'm really a fan of functional lab testing to help to identify triggers and things that can be contributing to inflammation. That's what I do with my clients in my practice. Things like regulating stress and your nervous system support, so many things. And honestly, if you're in a place where you keep having these severe flares and they're just not getting better, they're not going away, and you're continuing to have to pull out these short-term tools, it's definitely a sign to dig deeper. So find somebody who can help to support you and help you get to the root cause of what's going on in your body. You can always reach out to me. There's always a link in the show notes where you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation. I offer at least a good few of those every month, and I'd be happy to connect with you there. All right, my friend, just wanted to give you a quick recap of the tools that I mentioned today. I'll kind of just do the quickie overview of the list. So number 1, we had anti-inflammatory herbs like ginger and turmeric. Number 2, hydration and electrolytes. Number 3, magnesium. Number 4, gentle movement. Number 5, heat therapy. Number 6, calming breath work. And then some of those bonus tools I mentioned like red raspberry leaf, cramp bark, TENS unit, and sound resonance therapy. So there's a good 10 or so tools that you can use to help you when you're having some endo flares. And if you do use any of those and find that it really supports you, I would love to hear from you, because the more that I hear people's experiences and how all of this works for you and your body, the better that it helps me to support more endo warriors. So please reach out. Now, my friend, I know that endo flares can feel overwhelming, but just remember that you are not powerless. You have options, you have tools that are here to support you. There are things that you can do to support your own body. Now, as I mentioned, if you're tired of dealing with painful flares and want to go beyond just symptom relief to really understand the root causes of your inflammation, I do offer a few free 30-minute consultations each month. Those spots do tend to fill up quickly, so if you are ready to take control of your health, head over to the show notes, find the link there, and book yours today. All right, my friend, be sure to DM me your personal favorite flare support tools on Instagram at EndoBellyGirl and share in your stories. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to keep this conversation going. If there's anything that you really love that I didn't mention today that you would love to share, please feel free to reach out. And I hope you have the most wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me today, my friend. If you loved what you heard, be sure to share with a friend and subscribe so that you can keep coming back for more. If you are ready to take the next step towards getting to the root cause of your endo symptoms like endo belly, pain, fatigue, and so much more, you need to download my free ultimate guide to building your own endometriosis diet. You can find the link in the show notes or at www.endobellygirl.com. Until next time, my friend.